guys, Merry Christmas and welcome back. We got a big update today and it is going to be a long one. So in the description I have timestamps just in case you want to skip forward. Really, if you just want a short description of the changes from last month and the overall 3 months since the storm, just go down and click the little 10-minute mark. That's going to send it over to the aerial footage where I do a voiceover. However, if you watch the whole video, I do have a vlog that shares my personal thoughts of everything, where I launched out of, trespassing, should you worry about where you launch, where can you launch, are the businesses open as far as kayak businesses. All those questions will be answered in the vlog. So yeah, just sit back and enjoy. This is going to be a long one, so get some snacks and stuff like that, but enjoy, guys. Alright guys, welcome back. I'm out here at Big Hickory Island. I just launched out of Squaw Channel. So there's some big news. For one, the kayak businesses and all that are back to business. They are not launching out of Squaw Channel. If you don't know where Squaw Channel is, I'll show you on a map what I'm talking about. They're actually launching down at the bridge at Big Hickory Pass. I will also show where that is. Ooh, some mullet just jumped. So, like I was saying, there's some good news. For one, I didn't see any kind of sign saying facility closed on the Big Hickory ramp, which is good. Now, there is going to be a no trespassing sign in the Squaw Channel that is on the kayak ramp. Now, ignore that. We've had problems with the owner out here because all of this, right, all of that is a preserve. It is not a park. So that means somebody owns this plot of land, and he was basically trying to say that he was trying to restrict water access for everybody. It was a big thing last May, because this is where we launched out of when I was working with Paddle Naples. By the way, I'm still working for him. And they tried to shut us out. So this dude that bought the island, I won't say any names because I don't want to put anybody under the water, but he basically put a barbed wire across the channel that could literally decapitate people, and we had to call the cops and the FWC like 4 days in a row. I don't really know where that whole thing's going, but basically he was trying to claim access from the ground all the way up to the surface, and that's because his property line goes over the water. Like, technically he owns the ground underneath the water. It's super weird. He does own all the trees, so if you were to touch him or try to walk in the mangroves, and to be honest, good luck trying to do that, you're trespassing, and I guess he'll prosecute you. Some people are just a little bit, tad bit aggressive. We never had any problems with the previous owners of this island, but this guy is different. Another thing too, this Squaw Channel of what I'm going out of is always pretty quiet. It's a little bit more quiet than usual since, the hurricane hit. But if you guys are looking for somewhere where you can paddle and you're not overwhelmed by crowds and such, this is the spot to go. Now, I will be showing y'all the, some updates, because they've cleared a lot of the debris. They really have done a wonderful job clearing the debris. There's only one problem, and that's trash bags. All the trash bags on all the mangroves are like twindled and really, really, really tangled up in there, where it's it's a flipping disaster. And to try to get those out, I mean, if y'all just think you can just go up there and rip them out, really go and try for yourself. It is a humbling experience, because I tried doing it, and you just can't just rip them out. They're so tangled, and that strengthens the trash bag where it's hard to tangle them out and pull them out. So what they would have to do is they'd have to take these barges and just have a dude on some sort of lift just taking 15 minutes of his time to untangle one bag, and there's hundreds of bags. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. But just from a first glance, I'll pan the camera so y'all can see it. There's a vulture up there too. He's scanning the area, but this is what it is. Everything back here is nice and green. Scared because of that no trespass sign, but I'm telling you guys, ignore it. I ignored it. We ignored it last year while we were launching for many, many months. The FWC is not going to enforce it. This is a navigable waterway, okay? Which means if it leads out to an ocean, if it's tidal, right? Those two big things, which is what it is, and you can literally navigate through it with a vessel. It's a navigable waterway, and it feeds into a bigger body of water. I believe that's one of the definition standards too. Then you cannot stop somebody from having water access. So this dude's crazy. He's not going to shut us out. So ignore the sign. Be a little rebel. But I will be right back once I'm on the beach. Alright, so I made it on the beach. Now one cool thing I've noticed, whoop, little tricolored heron moving. One cool thing is what I'm standing on right now used to be a pass. Now I covered this over on my last video, and you know, you can see it where basically this used to rush out to the ocean. That is no longer the case. It's filled in. Now what's cool that I've noticed this time around is it's kind of forming the hill that used to be there, because this used to be actually a really steep slope, and it was like a mound, and you know, you had sea oats and all these different brushes and all that kind of cool stuff there. Now it's slowly reforming. Now the vegetation ain't there yet, but I mean, you can kind of see it. The sand is coming back. And then there's another cool little thing I've noticed, is that the trees are coming back to life. It is also really quiet out here. There's not a soul out here. And last year during Christmas, it was so busy out on this island, even during the week, but that's just how the hurricane does it. Really has affected this industry as far as tourism goes. But here, we actually have some white mangroves coming around. So they're growing back. This was not here last time. So it is getting green again. I don't know if these will come back. I mean, these are reds. I don't know if they're fully dead or not, you know. Kind of seems like it because the branches are really brittle. But at least these are growing back. We got all this kind of greenery going on. Pretty cool. And it keeps on going on down here. It's actually really pretty. White mangroves is the shape of the leaves. So the reds and the blacks have like a triangular shape, and this one's rounded. And I don't know if you can pick that up, but really up close, try to get the lighting up on it. You might be able to see two little bumps on that on the stem right there where my thumb is. Those are the sugar glands that come out of the stem. So yeah, that's a white mangrove, and this will branch out and turn into a tree, which is good. Same. Okay, so there's more debris too, obviously, in these really hard to get places. This is a hickory tree that is just all kinds of mangled up, just completely lobbed over. That's all the roots right there. This is the top of the tree. You know, you got these little mattress foams, stuff that honestly takes a long time to degrade without water. You know, that thing's not even like somewhat moldy. It's pretty crazy. So besides that little thing and a couple bags, I mean, you can see that the beach is pretty darn spotless, which is good. Okay, so yeah, here's the mangroves that I was talking about coming back to life. All that's really good to see. Those were definitely not there from before. These trees are extremely hardy. I mean, good luck trying to make them go extinct. They have survived tribulation for millions of years. Anyways, this little backdrop is forming a little mound, like I was saying as well. You can kind of see that incline to it. Now, it's not exactly how it was originally, but, I mean, that's still kind of cool. The beach is going to heal over time even more, so all these changes should be expected. And a lot of the big debris, and this is going to be kind of the central theme of today's videos, the big debris is handled, the small debris is not handled. So, I mean, they've done an excellent job cleaning up all the big stuff. I'm talking about boats, you know, houses, walls, literally docks, just anything you can think of that would get swept away by water. All the big stuff, they've done a great job cleaning that up. All the smaller stuff, the bags, you know, the styrofoam, the stuff that's way back in the tree line over there. They still have to get that, and I'm sure they are. It's just going to take some time. It's a little bit harder to go back there and to logistically handle all this with working people and the barges and the boats and all this crazy stuff that you got to plan. Okay, we're going to go and get this cleaned up. It's just like, it's going to take some time, but they're doing an excellent job. I'm happy. But now it's the battle of the bags is what I'm going to call it. The plastic bags, the stuff that's non-biodegradable, that is just extremely harmful for pretty much anything living in the ocean. Plastic is such a bad thing, and it really needs to be a top priority of getting the bags up. I know it's a pain in the butt to try to untwist it, but it's got to be done, and I'm sure they're going to do it. They're doing a great job, like I said. This floating house, too, no longer there. Don't try to go out and find this guy. There's a lot of things that are no longer out there. So this house is one. Another one are, you know, just parts of this, wherever this came from. Big stuff like this, guys, are not out there. You can't even tell it was out there anymore. They've done such a good job going in with the barges and picking this all up and then bringing it over to Lover's Key. They've done a great job. This by the bridge, also, those pontoons, the boats, all that stuff, no longer there. It looks a lot cleaner than what it once was. This is it presently. You can tell just there's really nothing really that bad out there. So it's looking great. Really is looking great. Just like I said, the battle of the plastic bags. So one little interesting fact about plastic bags, and this I'll use dolphins as an example. Dolphins love to play seaweed catch when they're little babies. It's how they learn to socialize with the other dolphins, and it's a really big part of their development. Now, there's so many plastic bags in the ocean that they've switched from playing with seaweed over to playing with plastic bags. And unfortunately, for some of the babies, they actually choke on the plastic bags. So, you know, there's a lot of things that can get impacted by plastic. It's just something you don't want out there. It's like I said, non-biodegradable, meaning it's going to take like 200, 300 years before it disappears. And I think we have enough plastic already floating out there in the ocean. Just because it's out of sight doesn't mean it's going to be out of mind. So I know the guys out there, the crews out there are obviously going to prioritize this. It's not like they just don't care about the environment or anything. A lot of people out there, of course, they're making a living, but their intentions are good. I've seen them out there just sitting out at the ramp. They've done a lot of pickup. All I see are barges going in and out, in and out. You know, 80% of the boats I see out there are workers. Now, if you do decide to go out there, like on your kayak, to try to enjoy the day for yourself, you're not going to get run over by barges or anything. there's not a whole lot of barges. It's not like a whole army's out there, you know, trying to save the day. But it is a good number of people. And I've personally seen them, and they got all kinds of equipment. They got amphibious, like these amphibious cars that they went down in right by that bridge where we were launching out of, and they'll go in and just grab the boats and just pull it straight out. It's like little amphibious tanks. I wish I got it on footage, but I didn't, unfortunately. So there's a means of doing stuff, and they're going to get it done. There's a few boats still that are way far in the mangroves. I've seen them. Couple people, they weren't a part of the barges, but they were trying to tow those things out, and to no avail. That's going to take some heavy duty equipment, whether you need winches. You just simply cannot strap that to a boat and pull it out, because there's just too much friction between the trees, and you really got to get at a perfect angle to try to do it. So that kind of gives you an idea of Big Hickory Island. All the big debris on Big Hickory is pretty much clean. Like 99.99% of it is gone. So you will not see a lot of what you saw from the first update video that I did, which is, it's awesome, personally, because kayak guide, I'm you know, back to business, working for Paddle Naples, and everyone else there is back to business as well. Now, Little Hickory is a little different. So driving through it, it looks like a nuclear bomb went off in some sections. The new mansions handled it just fine. I'm sure that obviously they got their entire bottom floor and whatnot wiped out. Some parts were pretty broken, but you know, that's a whole different story. That's going to take a way longer for that whole island to look anywhere near as normal. I mean, this used to be a tennis court section, and you know, obviously they're not going to prioritize building back a tennis court when they got to collect debris, bring sand over. They are replacing a lot of the sand on Little Hickory. I'll go back to that in a little bit, but a lot of the docks and stuff, the boats are back. You know, they've actually fixed some of the docks. They're not as messed up as they once were. Now, the pass is wider. I don't think it's going to close back to what it used to be. Before this storm, the pass used to be, that beach up there used to be about 30 yards, 40 yards max from the tree line. And personally, I like it wider because on the tours, I have more room to just kind of dodge the boats. It's it's more safe for any kind of paddler to go out there. Not that anybody got ran over or anything before, but it really does mitigate it when you have 100+ yards to go wherever you want. So that is looking good. It just looks clean out there. There's not a whole lot of debris underwater that I've noticed. From what I've seen beforehand, all the stuff that was out there underneath the water has kind of disappeared. Might be buried under the sand, who knows where it went, or they might have picked it up. But for the most part, Big Hickory as a whole is looking like an excellent little spot. Here's that little tip of Little Hickory again. Like I said, there's no grass or anything where these buildings are. There's no sidewalk. All that's going to take a while to come back. And here they're replacing all the sand on the beach. I'm sure that storm surge just completely wiped it out as far as erosion goes. So they're actually doing this. They have a huge line that is probably going to span down the Bonita beach. And they have to replace all the sand, because if it erodes to the condos, it's not a good thing at all. So there's a lot of work that is getting done. And this is a really tedious process that they're doing. If they're only using, I mean, there's one plower, but there's multiple trucks coming in and out that are going to replace the sand. So they're working hard out there, that's for sure. I mean, just me sitting out there, I see it all day. Just construction trucks, barges, debris trucks. They're just always going down. There's a lot of them. I see a lot of local cars too, but a lot of people are going out. So they're doing a good job. Now, the biggest thing I noticed and the greatest changes were Hogue. So here's before.
Now, Hogue Channel was a hot mess because the trailer park that once resided on the Hogue Channel got wiped out. And a lot of that debris ended up on the trees. And now it's no longer the case. It's honestly, I think Hogue is the biggest change. It's just crazy how much progress they've done. Obviously, there's still small stuff, but all the cars, all the walls, just the whole mess of things have been cleaned up. So all these things are good. This kind of sums up Little Hickory and Big Hickory. For the rest of the video, I'm going to give you guys a little more endpoints, but this really does sum up what's going on as far as from an aerial point.
Alright, looks like jet ski tours are back. That's a pretty cool sight. That's the first time I've seen jet ski tours run through the area. Now, like, you know, doing the kayak tours, it could be a little annoying dealing with them. But the good thing is that the entire pass is a no wake zone. Obviously those are stirring up a little bit of a wake, but you get the point. There they go. That's good, man. I haven't seen them launch, and those guys probably launch right out of Fort Myers Beach. There's a couple businesses there. I'll have to think of the name. I'll probably do it in the voiceover of what they were. One of the guys I went to high school with worked with them as a tour guide and would come through here. But pretty cool. Pretty cool. A fun little fact, the channel's name is Mud Flat Productions, and if y'all are wondering how we got that name, it was actually this little area right here was where we came up with the name. Because on a low tide, all this dries out, and when it's high, it comes back in and it floods it out. So that is how we came up with the name of Mud Flat Productions right there. My parents would come in and they'd park right here, and this was just a perfect spot to let the dogs run free. And I was like, Mud Flat Productions. So that's a little backstory of how we came up with the name. It took a while, but we did come up with it. And kind of crazy, no one took that name. When we were thinking of it, brainstorming it, I thought it was going to be taken for sure, but we got a little lucky. Oh, here's something really cool. You guys see these two dudes right here? Boom, boom. Those are called whelks. This dude right there is alive. That dude right there is alive. What they do is they'll just scour the bottom of the sea floor, going about their business, and they devour these guys. These little clams, they just come right in, and they got this, they'll suck onto them and just overlap them like my hand, and then just pry them open. Very powerful, right? And then they just slurp out the muscle inside of it. So it's pretty excruciating long way to go for a little whelk. Not a fun thing to experience. Now if I pick this guy up, which does not hurt him, see, he's got that little foot right there. That means he's on the defensive, and that little black part of him is alive. This other one seems like it's burrowed in the little sand, and if I pick it up, bang, look at that. So that's the living part. If I touch this, he's like, oh no, gonna eat me. And he hides away. That's his little foot right there. That's like his little shield. These dudes are full-blown savages. They'll eat anything on the bottom. They'll even cannibalize each other if one dwarfs the other one. So pretty crazy. It's good to see them alive.
Alright, that is going to conclude it for today. A little summary. All the big debris gone. All the small stuff. The plastic bags are still there, although they're getting cleaned up. It's the battle of the plastic bags right now. You guys get the point. If y'all are looking to go anywhere for kayaking or anything like that, we have our kayak rentals open, and you can bring your own stuff there as well. You're more than welcome to. I've had a lot of people actually stop by and ask if it's okay to launch out of there. You can. Big Hickory Island is open. Everything on Lover's Key is still closed. All the parks and whatnot in Lee County are still closed, so just remember that. But this bridge, they're allowing us to launch, and at the Squaw Channel ramp, there was no sign saying facility closed. Now you're going to see that no trespassing sign. That's the crazy owner. Don't be afraid of that. That's been going on for a year, and the dude refuses to remove it because technically the mangrove that the sign is on is his property, and he can keep it there. I don't know. You just can't put barbed wire on it like he tried. So, yeah, just ignore him. But, yeah, that pretty much concludes it. Merry Christmas to everybody, and Happy New Year's. If y'all don't celebrate Christmas, and I got some Jewish people watching, Happy Hanukkah. If y'all don't celebrate any of those things, Happy New Year's. If you're Chinese or something, happy, was it Chinese New Year? I believe that's in February. I'll have to look that up. But regardless, just happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have a good day. I'm going to be slammed with kayak tours and all that, so I don't know if I'll be able to upload another video within that time frame just because of how slam-packed we're going to be. We're actually going to be pretty busy from Christmas Eve all the way up to New Year's, so that's looking good. But yeah, y'all have a good one, and we are very close to 1,000 subscribers, which gets me very excited. We hit that big 800 mark last week, so everyone that subscribed, thank you. Everyone that likes, comments, and all that good stuff, thank you very much. I love the engagement from everybody. It makes the channel what it is, and it keeps our morale so that we can keep on, charging forward and recording stuff for you guys, making content that you guys like and enjoy. That's what brings me joy. So, that being said, Merry Christmas again, and y'all have an amazing day.